extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you joining us today for a conversation with two national award-winning teachers on the theme, The Present and Future of Teaching, Expectations from a School Teacher. As we celebrate Teachers' Day this year, let us all learn from them about how we can make a difference in the lives of learners, even in the midst of unpredictability. Let us be prepared for the present and future of teaching as a profession. Let us begin our program with a soulful prayer. I invite Ms. Ashwati Asha, a student from BSc B.Ed Mathematics, to sing the words of auspicious.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vitvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you, Ashwati. As I was saying earlier, we have gathered here as a part of our Chinmay Vishwavidyapith's Teachers' Day celebration, organized by the School of EGCS, which offers integrated programs. Though the Teachers' Day is celebrated on 5th September every year, we choose to do it today to ensure you can enjoy a well-earned Sunday tomorrow. Today's event will have two components. The first is a conversation with the distinguished speakers, two highly acclaimed teachers, Mrs. Maya Mohan and Mrs. Leela K.M. This will be moderated by one of our faculty members, Dr. Ajay Kumar K. There will be also an open Q&A at the end of this, where you can all pose your questions to the speakers. After this, we will be announcing the winners of Guru Dakshina competition conducted as part of the celebrations. The teachers nominated by the winners will also be felicitated by our beloved Dean of Faculty, Professor Gauri Maholikar. We hope for your wholehearted cooperation and enthusiasm. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Radha Mohan, Professor and Head of our Department of Education, who has over 3 decades of experience in teacher education, to deliver the welcome address and to introduce the speakers for today. Ma'am.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Good afternoon, everyone. Hari Om. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome all of you to this year's Teachers' Day. As we all know, every year, the 5th of September is Teachers' Day, commemorating the birth anniversary of Dr. S. Radhakrishnan as a teacher, Vice President, and second President of India. Dr. Radhakrishnan had made an immense contribution to education and philosophy in our country. This Teachers' Day is a very, very special one for us. The COVID pandemic has forced most of us, whether we are teachers, students, or even the general lay public, to learn, to unlearn, and to relearn. We are all well equipped to face the changing scenario in life, particularly education. Teachers and students have had to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And not only that, they had to learn how to teach, the students had to learn how to learn using new devices, all these technological tools and platforms. So it has been an immensely, not exactly traumatic, a turning point in our lives. This webinar on the present and future of teaching, expectations from a school teacher, is a very closely held dream come true for me for very, 2 reasons. One, it is an initiative of our young teacher trainees of the integrated B.Ed program in CBV. Ramnath and Meenakshi with their team have curated the whole program under the able guidance of Assistant Professors Neetu S. Kumar and Dr. Ajay Kumar. The confidence and positive attitude these future teachers exhibited right through was amazing, absolutely amazing. Their journey to becoming full-fledged teachers has already begun. Secondly, interacting with 2 national award-winning teachers Srimati Maya Mohan, Director of Tattva Center of Learning, and Srimati Leela K.M, the Principal of Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Kannur, who will be sharing their knowledge and experience with all of us, will show us how fulfilling it is to be a teacher. It would be great to know about their journey as teachers in CV and their long association with the Chinmaya mission. As most of you are aware, the NEP 2020 has highlighted teacher education and has emphasized the necessity of introduction of the 4-year integrated B.Ed program for employment nationally, mandating that by 2030, all teacher education courses will follow this pattern. The era of students opting for engineering, medicine, and other such courses is slowly tapering out. It's coming to an end. Teaching will soon be the preferred option for many students as it opens many avenues of employment and higher studies. Our two guests for the day are living examples of the options that teaching offers. Now, let me tell you a little bit about our two esteemed guests. Srimati Maya Mohan is a BA Honours in English from Bangalore University, MA from Delhi University, MPhil from JNU, MEd from Annamalai University. She is the recipient of several awards. I'm just naming a few of them. Amongst them, the National Award for Best Teacher from the President of India, the CBSE Award for Best Teacher 2001 as Teacher of Outstanding Merit, the Chinmaya Gaurav Award, and very many more. There's an Olympiad Award, all kinds of things. I've just taken 3 key ones. Maya ji is a much sought after trainer, particularly in English, and speaker in several international conferences, besides being consulting editor associated with Orient Black Swan English Text. An entrepreneur, a person making a difference in the lives of children, a wonderful role model. Welcome, Maya ji, to our webinar. We are really honored to have you with us today. Our second speaker, Srimati Leela, who is a reputed maths teacher, is an MSc Maths, MSc Applied Psychology, B.Ed, Postgraduate Diploma in School Leadership and Management, Certificate in Counseling by National Skill India Mission, course in Vedanta with distinction, Bhagavad Gita course by Chinmaya International Foundation. She's got an O grade in that. So it goes on. She's got a whole lot of things. Srimati Leela is also a recipient of the CBSE Teacher Award 2018, Chinmaya Gaurav Award for 2019, the Reliance Foundation Teacher Award 2018, State Teacher Award by Science Olympiad. Our esteemed guest has also authored several books in maths based on the NCERT syllabus, and which has been published by Lakshmi Publishers, Delhi. Leela ji is a member of several professional bodies associated with maths education, like the Homi Bhabha Center for Science Research and several other ones. It is indeed an honor to have you, ma'am, Leela ji, in our midst today. Teachers are the backbone of our country, and we can make an enormous difference in the lives of our students. The job satisfaction that we as teachers get and the love and affection shared with our students is something we deeply treasure. In fact, when I began my career, I was a 6th standard class teacher. That was 30, 40 years ago. And even now, when I go to Chennai, I go to a temple, I meet these children who are now 45 years old. They will cross the road to come and say, hello, ma'am, how are you? I don't think you'll get that love and affection anywhere else, in any kind of corporate environment. Dr. Ajay Kumar, Assistant Professor of Maths in the School of Ethics, Governance, Culture, and Social System, will be interacting with our esteemed guests along with the teacher trainees. Thanks for being with us today. I hope you all enjoy yourselves today with the webinar and the prize distribution. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Radha
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Now I would like to invite Dr. Ajay Kumar K, Assistant Professor and Program Director of BSc B.Ed Mathematics, to take over the conversation. Sir.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Thank you, Radha ma'am. Let me begin by giving my pranams to all the teachers of the universe and all those who have had positive influence on us. Indeed, I consider it a privilege to be having this conversation with two well-known, accomplished teachers, Leela ma'am and Maya ma'am. So yes, we are celebrating Teachers' Day, even if it is one day early. On this occasion, I would just like to say that teaching is the noblest of professions solely because teachers pave everyone's path for every profession. And most of us here as teachers have no reservations in accepting this. But a large section of our audience comprises aspiring teachers, including B.Ed and MS students. For these prospective teachers, I'm sure, would wish to understand the noble responsibility of a teacher and to appreciate the satisfaction one derives out of the profession. Maya ma'am, I would like to go to you first. Could you please tell us what a teacher can do and most importantly, what a teacher should do?
Hello and good afternoon to one and all. I thank the organizers of this webinar for inviting me today. I'm very, very thrilled because I've been a part of the Chinmaya family from my birth. So it is a great honor for me to be here addressing the aspiring young teachers. A couple of things I want to tell you. I won't take very long. I know each of us has got a fixed time. First thing I want to tell you, a quote by Henry Adams, which says, "A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops." This is one very important maxim that you have to live by. Because if you remember this, then anything that you do will be focused on getting this done. That's very, very important. So when you say can and should, the cans and the shoulds are fusing together because I'm not very fond of should because I always feel that it straitjackets you. But in spite of that, I will say can and should. What happens when you want to become a teacher is it's something that should come from within you. You should not be a frustrated doctor. You should not be a frustrated engineer. You should not stray into education for the simple reason that, oh, I couldn't get anything else, or because your parents feel that, oh, that's a good one for girls. They can sit at home, they can have classes along with their children, and they can take holidays with them, and you can be at home. And that strain of being a corporate person is not there. That cannot be a reason for taking up this particular profession. So I feel that one of the things that you have to remember is you are a teacher by choice. And also that just because, contrary to what people say, I don't believe in nobility being conferred on a teacher. You have to deserve it. A teacher becomes noble by his or her actions. Just by being a teacher, you don't become noble. It's not a noble profession in that sense of the word. It becomes noble only when you infuse it with nobility, not the other way around. That's the second thing I wanted to do. And I also want to tell you, when you say, when he was asked, when all the students I'm talking to, it doesn't matter who, you have to think, first of all, in terms of your classroom. Your first day in class, what are you going to do? You enter, you have 30 students, 40 students, 10 students, all looking at you, expecting something. So what are you going to do? What is the first thing you're going to do? How are you going to achieve what you want to achieve? How much of preparation have you done? Have you done your homework for your first day at school? This is very, very vital because there'll be a lot of theories that you will be taught, a lot of practical classes will be taught. But when you actually go into the classroom, how are you going to interact with the students? So importantly, what kind of a classroom are you going to create for them? A classroom free from fear. Fear to ask you, fear to dispute, fear to transgress sometimes, fear to break the rules without anything happening to you. And I think this is the closest profession to playing God because you can make or mar a child. So you have to be very, very careful. You have to shore up, you have to be so many, you have to play so many roles. It's not like an engineer's one role. We are multifaceted in our role playing. You have to give them self-esteem. You've got to make them feel good about themselves. You've got to make them be fearless. You are training them for the future, which you and I don't even know what it is. Because there's a pandemic has told us. What is it? We don't know what the future holds for you, what the future holds for you at all. And we're training you for that. Third thing, and I end with this, is professionalism. You are a professional. Please, please do not forget it. You are not there because you're trying to add on to the kitty of your family. You're not there because you need a job or you want a job and this is what your husband allows or your father allows or whatever. It's not for that. Neither, if you take your profession seriously, your family will take it seriously. So to the teachers, I say, aspiring teachers, you are professionals. When someone says, go for that meeting, you have to go overnight. No, the husband doesn't come and get permission from you. Can I go? If the boss says you go, you jolly well go. So even teachers should realize professionalism means you have to update, you have to attend all these seminars, no matter where it is, no matter what time it is. You have to give your best. And professionalism also, besides updation, all that is a given. One very important thing I want to tell you is small developing skills, all that will come in later, but one very important, teaching is also a glamorous profession. Why don't you make it a glamorous profession? My mother, who started the Chinmaya, etc., college and school. I remember when she was working in Delhi, there were two young girls in Loreto. I think they were walking in front. So one of the little girls was asking one child was asking another girl, saying, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? She says, if I'm beautiful, I'm talking about 30, 40 years ago. If I'm beautiful, I'm going to become an air hostess. And if I'm not very beautiful, I'll become a teacher. So what does that say about our profession, right? It's because they have this preconceived notion. A teacher is not bothered about how she looks. A teacher just comes in any which way. A teacher doesn't have to look very nice. The teacher just comes and screams and shouts and tells us what to do. But that's not what teaching is today. It never was. It's just what we made it. So teachers, you have to take care of, that is professionalism. You know, the way you dress, the way you conduct yourselves, the way you walk, the way you talk, your communication skills are very, very, very important, teachers. Because you are explaining things to the students. And you cannot explain things to the students who are not understood in the same way every time. It is only, they say, a very foolish person who does the same thing every time and expects a different result. So that can't happen. You have to change. It's a wonderful profession, believe you me. I feel I could have been anything. I grew up in Delhi. I could have been anything I wanted. But I chose to be a teacher. And I chose to come here. No, I don't know about that. But anyway, I chose to be a teacher. And I have no regrets whatsoever. So you can be good teachers.
Yes, ma'am. To start with, that is the first thing for an aspiring teacher, that they should become a teacher by choice. And you rightly said that it is a glamorous profession. And the professionalism aspect is a key. Now, Leela ma'am, I would like to take your perspectives on the same. What do you think a teacher can really do and should be doing?
Okay, thank you, sir. First of all, my sincere gratitude to Chinmaya Vishwavidyapith for giving me an opportunity to be the part of this year's Teachers' Day celebration. Thanks a lot. Education plays a major role in national development. In any society, the system of education attempts are made to introduce developmental inputs. And as Maya Mama said, teaching is a noble profession. Teachers are always ready to go to any extent to help their students. There's really a feel of satisfaction to a teacher when they see their students achieve in life. Everyone who remembers his own education remembers his teachers or her teachers, because teacher is the heart of education system. And there are various types of profession, but teaching is some way differ from others. And each and every teacher has to learn plenty of things in day-to-day life for the effective teaching. The same was described by Dr. Rabindranath Tagore. A lamp can never light another lamp unless it continues to burn its own flame. A lamp can never light another lamp unless it continues to burn its own flame. Means a teacher can never truly teach unless he or she is still learning himself or herself by reading quality books, articles, journals, magazines, publishing, attending various seminars, workshops, and attending the speech of the different subject expert, etc., etc. I mean, every teacher has to equip themselves to face the challenges, and they have to deliver effective teaching because teaching is more challenging and a complex profession also. I feel proud to be a teacher because it gives me a pleasure and greater sense of purpose, and that leads to job satisfaction. It means that I'm doing the valuable task of shaping the future by guiding the various career opportunities and changing the lives of the younger generation. That is changing the lives of youth. The individuals who are taking or those who are interested in teaching profession must possess a passion for teaching, not by just choice, because there should be a passion for teaching. They are required to be good listeners. That is, every teacher has to be good listeners. And they should have a great problem-solving skills. They should have organization skills, along with strong communication skills to effectively convey the messages to our students, that is, those who are sitting in front of us. And the career in teaching requires people who have the conviction to nurture our younger minds and mold them into something great. And according to Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda, the great teacher is one who goes beyond telling, explaining, and demonstrating, but one who inspires the student.
Yes, ma'am. So you both have made it clear that teaching, one should enter the profession of teaching with utmost passion and should understand the purpose and responsibilities very clearly before they take up and get into the profession. So we understand that there are these responsibilities which are on their shoulder, but to fulfill these, a modern day teacher, we know, has to play many roles. You were also trying to talk about those roles within as well as outside the classroom. It could be a subject matter expert, a facilitator of learning, a counselor, a mentor, an administrator, an event organizer, and much more. Our society definitely keeps evolving, and obviously the expectations from a teacher constantly keeps changing. Leela ma'am, I would like to ask you first, apart from the minimal educational qualifications needed for teachers, what is the level of expertise in the subject do today's teachers need to have? Also, you were talking about certain skills, so I would like you to tell us what specific skill sets they are expected to possess.
Okay, sir. So we know that the school is a social organization, and where the role in shaping means the shaping of the lives of young people, it occurs. So we cannot apply a mechanical approach to the functioning of an organization. And we have to create a healthy working learning environment in the school. And that is very important for yielding the desired changes. The quality of school depends upon the greater extent on the management of teaching learning resources. Okay. And learning is complete and holistic only when the student is able to effectively perform or fulfill his or her responsibilities and duties towards self, for the school, for the family, for the society, for the nation, etc. Development of life skills such as critical thinking skills, interpersonal communication skills. Decision-making and problem-solving skills are very critical for dealing with the challenges of everyday life. 21st century skills are essentially the outcome of experiential learning, which can be achieved through observation, understanding, practicing, and experiencing. That is learning by doing. It consists of three main skills. That is, three L's are needed. They are namely learning skills, literary skills, and life skills. I mean, learning skills, the skills are required for acquisition of new knowledge. And literacy skills we need because that help in creating and gaining new knowledge through reading, media, and digital resources. And life skills, it is to be required for successfully leading healthy everyday life. And it includes the 4 C's, that is critical thinking, creativity, and innovation, collaboration, and communication. So these are the main skills, and the 4 C's would be required to achieve the 21st century skills for a teacher to become a good teacher.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for those 4 C's. And now, Maya, ma'am, what do you think the skill sets for a modern day teacher?
I think one of the most important, of course, Leela has been extremely, she's given a very composite kind of a set of skills that are required for the 21st century or for teachers today. So I don't think I would like to touch upon that at all, because what she said is absolutely right and makes sense. So yeah, we can't always, it's not just that. I think empathy is very important. One of the skills to be taught to the students, because that's getting lost in all this. When we're teaching them, what does empathy mean? That, of course, is everybody should find out for themselves, and I don't want to elaborate on that at this juncture. But empathy, caring for someone else, because if a teacher shows that nature, empathizing with a student, wanting, because we do not know what is happening to the child back home. How can the child learn? How can the child be creative? How can the child do anything if the situation at home is totally different? And we just say, oh, the child can't. But if we empathize and we get to know about it, so that's a very, very important skill that is required. A skill of inclusivity, that's very, very important. Have an inclusive school, inclusive classroom, with even those who are marching to a different drummer, as it were, even those who cannot cope with the grade appropriate material. How does a teacher today deal with that? And today, 10% of any student population has these children. We can't ignore them. So every teacher, not just the special educator, every teacher should know how to address these students, and their numbers are only increasing from the reading that I have done. And now today, after the pandemic, it's going to be worse. They don't pay attention. They have the attention span. Even a goldfish is supposed to have an attention span of maybe 2-3 seconds. But these children don't have that. You know, they don't even have that, because this is a different thing. So how are we going to capture that? So today, the skill sets that teachers require, they have to be a friend, a philosopher, not just a guide, but a mother or a father, to reach out to those who are finding it difficult and who are struggling. Those skill sets, besides the usual ones, and being a team player, having team teaching, all that is very, very important. And content, I'm not even touching about. Assessments, I'm not even touching about, because that is not within the purview of this. But I think these, the teachers have to be, Leela used the word passionate. Yes, they should be good entertainers, because that's where you're going to, teachers, I think that's very important. You have to be, you have to entertain them, edutainment, as it were, and you have to be very effective communicators to tell them what exactly they should be teaching and expose them. So teachers have to do a lot of reading for interconnecting, because I think the new policy does talk about integrated learning teaching. So you have to integrate the subjects, and you cannot, teachers, unless and until you people don't read lot of other material, you cannot, like maths. You can't integrate maths into music. You can't integrate maths into study of geography, let alone physics, chemistry. You know, it is important for this integration. For that, You need teamwork. You need to read a lot. These are skills that are very relevant today. Nothing is like compartmentalized or in a silo. Everything is very, very, it's going, it's very amoebic, like it goes from one to another. So teachers have to be very, very resilient. It's a very, very important skill to be resilient in the face of all the pressures they are put under. And today, teachers, I know all of you who are doing online work, parents are there, helicoptering around, walking around. This teacher didn't pronounce, this teacher didn't teach. So this resilience is very important to handle a lot of people, to handle varied kinds of students, to handle the parents. So earlier on, teachers didn't have to really know that, but now they do have to take along with them. It's just a principal who did it. No, you have to take everyone along with you, teachers. So you have to learn these skills also, besides the 4 C's and besides everything else that have been talked about.
Yes, right. Again, see, you were talking about few things which are very relevant now, like using technology. And yes, we know advancement in technology has always had a say in the profession of teaching. I remember when I was a student, computers were introduced in the schools for the first time. Some of the teachers, not all, made use of these systems and access to the internet to broaden our knowledge. Later, when I was training to become a teacher, I learned the skills of a smart board, interactive board, and other aspects of a smart classroom, which was a state-of-the-art facility then at a few renowned schools. And now, in the present context, the situation that the COVID pandemic has pushed us into, as you rightly said, teachers are expected to teach remotely. And definitely the technological tools play a key role here. And in the future, we definitely are not sure what kind of technology teacher need to rely on. It could be much more advanced. So Maya ma'am, I would again like to go with you. This technology is only one of the things expected to be different in the future. You were earlier also talking about preparing for future. So what do you think the future looks like for a school teacher in this and other aspects of their profession?
Okay, the future is very, very bright. Contrary to what people say, human beings are still the center. So without a teacher, you can't have a robot, in spite of what Elon Musk wants, the fusion of the brain of the human being to the brain of a robot. Have I gone off?
No, ma'am, you're here.
Okay. I'm always wondering whether this is working. So in spite of what people say about all this, it is not relevant. A teacher is very, very relevant. And if anyone tells you, young teachers, that your work is going to be obsolete, please tell them tomorrow the surgeon's work is also going to be obsolete because the robots might take over. So as far as teaching is concerned, their future is very bright. But having said that, it's very bright. Like, it was just mentioned that we have got to see to it that you're updating insofar as technology is concerned. There's so much to learn, so much. You have to make your teaching interesting because the current goes off or they deliberately switch it off or they have partial screen and they're half listening to you, half playing a game. You have to be a step ahead of the students in all this. You have to know what's happening. They can be having their, their mobile next to them, but they will be looking at this and at the same time, they're doing something, playing a game here. Or they'll have something behind the computer and they're playing. So they are so easily distracted. So you teachers will have to be one step ahead of them. And I think all the young teachers here will be. You know exactly what the students are doing so that you can see to it that the students come back into listening to you. Now, how will they listen to you in the future? Because why should they listen to you? You tell me. The Google is there, right? Whatever information they want, they can easily go to Google and get it. Why are you needed? You're needed not just for content. You are not just needed for information. There's a blitzkrieg of information. There's a whole lot of information there, which they can access. You tell them, how do they do their homework? How do you teachers do your homework when the teachers here give you your homework? You probably, one person does it and then some changes are made and you send it. So you don't really need that kind of information that you can Google and get. But where a teacher comes in is in the response to you, in trying to tell you, trying to pinpoint the difficulties that you might have and trying to sort out those difficulties in your learning. A teacher today has to teach you how to learn. How do I learn what I learn? It is not what was done earlier, where you just mugged up something, you mugged up your maths. As you know, you mugged up your maths and you went and spewed it, and anything different comes, a different number comes and you're stuck. But the more important thing for you teachers to do is learning how to learn. So you have to use new techniques for that. There's a neuro-linguistic program which helps you. There are a lot of techniques that are used by various teachers, by various people, where they're giving you a structure on how to help the students learn to learn. Because you need it in college, you need it in life. And teachers, you have to be lifelong learners. I've noticed that when I used to go down the corridor, some teachers, I'm sorry to say, I know some of my teachers are here, but they used to be boring because they are just repeating what is in the textbook. For that, you're not needed.
Yeah.
You are needed for something, some other information. How do you make it exciting? Why should I learn this? You have to be absolutely sure about why you are learning what you are learning. And if you as a teacher are not sure why you're teaching them, then sorry, you're in the wrong profession. You should be able to tell the student, you are learning this because this is important to you. You are learning that. And it's just a case of, it's not, that's why I said in the beginning, the should part of it I'm against, because nothing is didactic. Nothing is structured. The teacher has to go beyond that. Today, in the future, you cannot go within a structure. You have to go beyond that. But you have to know the structure very well to break it, like maths. You have to know the basic maths. Only then you can toy with it and know what happens to the universe. Right? So the teachers also have got to know a lot of other subjects, tie it all together, make it interesting for them, tell them what it is about, because you're teaching just the content is going to be boring. They will shut you out. You will not be able to reach them because Google is doing your work. You don't need to do that. Okay. So I think that's it.
Right. Yeah. As you said, the focus in policies also, we see that the focus is shifting towards multidisciplinary learning, and teachers should not be a mere source of information, but they themselves should be learning and be a step ahead of students. I really like that. Leela ma'am, now I would like to ask you, what do you anticipate in future? And to cope up with the unexpected, how should teachers prepare themselves to adapt and to upgrade their skills and knowledge?
And we all know that in the ongoing pandemic, parents are increasingly concerned about their children because they are not able, they think that they are not getting the quality education. Although online learning has become the new normal for many schools, almost all the schools are doing online teaching learning. But in an online class, it doesn't mean that the children is actively learning. Right. In most cases, the teacher is broadcasting, and that is just means through a lecture or something, a fixed curriculum for all the students, and students are merely watching it or seeing it. And they do not have the opportunity to understand or grasp the proper concept, or most of the children will be withdrawn because in an open forum, they are not ready to ask the doubts. And videos, because teachers are sending the videos, and videos reduce learning to highly passive watching. And rote learning has moved to watching, which is even worse. So in future, our classroom can be used as a forum for debate and for a discussion to promote collaboration. And there should be activities, even every time CBSE is stressing on learning by doing, experiential learning along with online learning. The teacher's ability is to engage the students in debate and discussion to improve in near future. And in future, the teachers, they have to act as a mentor. They have to act as a coach for inspiring and for motivating our students. And also, they have to develop, our children have to develop emotional quotient. They have to develop leadership qualities, and that can be achieved through actual classroom learning. So aim is to bring out, that is our aim is, it means every teacher, the aim is to bring out the unique capability of every student. Then students we have, that is as per NEP 2020, there is a flexibility, and there is a, they can choose their own subject, their own interest, and they can choose their own path according to their talents and interest. And the objective is given to equal emphasis on all subjects like social science, science, art, language, sports, maths, and with the integration of the vocational and academic subjects in as overall. And experiences are allowing collaboration, communication, teamwork, as Maya ma'am has said, that means it enhances teamwork for all the students, and it is often happen beyond the classroom walls. So we need to facilitate the good experiences in this context, and classroom need to be a reflection of this. And classroom will coexist as physical spaces, but online, flipping the current learning model so that the students can learn at home and spend class time for collaborating and applying their knowledge to the real life situations. That is, we have to flip the learning in means together with the means if it is an online mode, together with the experiential learning, and it has to be, means we should be able to or the children should be able to solve the real life problems also. Technological advances are enabled. That is, it has to be interconnectedness between information and people with the touch. With children, as ma'am has said, the Google is there. And whenever the Google is there, children have no difficulty in answering any question also whenever we do the assessment also. Right. So there should be, means just with a button, the children are getting everything. So that is why it is mentioned that teaching is a challenging profession. So education in the future means will need to demonstrate how technology can be used to students' advantage, as well as teach future generations and how to handle problems that is arise and from, because the children are using screen timing so a lot, and sometimes they are misusing it. So they should understand what are the problems it is going to arise with the continuous usage of the mobiles or the device when they are using. So old one model of teaching and learning fits all is outdated, and it has no place in the future education. So the teacher have become the teacher should be the facilitators of learning, and students will have more control of their own learning journey. So in future, the teachers will have individualized learning plans for students according to the students' interest, or individualized learning catering to the needs of even learning disability child. That is, different types of students are there. Accordingly, individual learning plans for the students, and which will enable each student to learn at their own pace and according to their abilities. Oh. And the grading is just a waste of time, because if it is so, if its purpose is solely to point out who is at the top and who is at the bottom, and assessments in future will be evidence-based and using measures that allow learning plans to drawn up, and it should be personalized. That is, not to assess a child who is becoming top or no, who is becoming scoring least marks. And in future, it has to be with proper evidence, and we have to take the correct measures to assess the children also.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So it is really exciting to see that in future, we could have learners having their own individualized learning pattern and approach, and teachers utilizing the technological advancements in bringing differentiated learning techniques within and outside the classroom. So And so the message is very clear that the future, we are more hopeful of future than being worried about. So let's come back to the present again for a moment and consider the futures of our students, the results of our actions. We put in our best efforts to inculcate the necessary skills in them to be responsible for their own learning and growth. Maya ma'am already made it clear that the emphasis is to make them learn how to learn. So, but it is also in our hands that they grow to be meaningful contributors to society. Hence, it is very important that students find their learning of whatever subject it is at school. Whatever they learn should be socially relevant and appropriate for the times. We know both of you have been involved in curriculum development and, of course, preparing textbooks. As you know, the curriculum addresses this to an extent. For example, after NCF, the National Curriculum Framework 2005, the NCERT has put in efforts to consciously address a few social concerns such as gender equality, secularism, etc. through textbooks. I remember when I was a student, they were different. But now if you look at the textbooks and go through all the word problems, we see names from both the genders equally appearing and names from different communities. So all these are being addressed through text. But for a student, especially a young one, the teacher comes before the subject and before the text. He or she is a role model, a very influential figure. So in this context, Maya ma'am, I would like to ask you first, what can a teacher do to make learning not only enjoyable and applicable, but also socially relevant? How do we use our positive influence to mold the minds that come to us trustingly for their beautiful futures?
Yes. Which are the socially relevant topics which the children should be exposed to? Is that what you're talking about? So that they can integrate it when they leave school or college, wherever,
right,
into society. So they become responsible members of society. So what is the teacher's role in that? Is that
yes? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I think, first of all, we are so bothered about completion of portions in school. And unfortunately, I'm also to blame, but unfortunately, we are also competitive, okay, result-wise or whatever. But right. I think one of the things that if we remove that and we just have a pass-fail kind of a certificate at the end of it, and the rest is left to the educational professional colleges or whatever, I think best will go, and we can teach the students in and through the subject if necessary, or as separate. Gender equality, which we just spoke about, it is mentioned, but how much of it is glossed over? How much of is it emphasized? And what exactly do the teachers do in classroom situations? I'm telling you from experience now, this is experiential. It is generally when you go for games, first thing, what do you do? Boys line up, then girls line up, right? Because as if it's the boys who need the play. Play is such an important facet of the child's development. So there again, the division comes. When you have to choose leaders, school leaders, who's chosen first? Boys?
Boys. True.
Right? And in a subject like math, so in a subject like your subject, the girls are always hesitant to give the answers, even if they know. Because that is where I feel the teachers play a very, very vital role in making the classroom very no gender bias in it. If anything you say is also recognized by the student through your body language. Teachers' body language is very, very important. It should be taught in B.Ed, I feel, because the students can know through your body language whether you're angry, whether you dislike them, whether you're stressed out about them. They know it very well. So if we could first of all, tell the teachers in future, socially relevant I'm talking about, first is gender equality. That's very, very important. This climate change is going to impact them more than us. How many more? I mean, people like me, I'm saying. We don't have that many years. So I am talking in terms of besides gender equity, the pay scales are different. Students should be allowed to talk about it. Why, miss? Why did I get these marks? And he wrote the same thing and he got better marks. It does happen.
Yes.
And then climate change. These are issues children should be known about. They should know. I already spoke about empathy and respect. Respect for each other. This is a very, very socially relevant thing, because respect for each other. Teachers should show respect to the students. Very often, I don't see that. Teachers say, hey, you, come here, I've forgotten your name. Come here. Just pick up these books and take it to my classroom. Yes, ma'am. So instead of that, if the teachers could show respect, then they can demand respect. So teach them how to be inclusive. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because teachers should be able to teach them inclusivity. What happens to a child who can't understand? What happens? Everyone laughs. Or the teacher says, oh my God, he stood up again. No, not now. End of the class, please. You will be disturbing me. I have to complete the portions. Don't ask me the questions. That child will never in his or her life ask a question again. The youngsters who are sitting there, remember those teachers, please. And don't be those teachers. You remember the kind of teachers who were what should I say, who were very, very appreciative of what you do, who motivated you, who led you on to certain subjects, not just because you were good, because they said you were good. Isn't it? So teachers have to be extremely sensitive to the students. They have to show respect for the environment. And I think in all this, we are forgetting our values. We are talking about technology. We are talking about careers. We are talking about... So in Chinmay, at least, where do values come in? You have to teach them values. I'm not talking about be good and do good and all that sort of... I don't talk about that. And God is there. God will punish you. I mean, I don't believe in that either. God will punish you. So I feel that teachers should be taught, students should be taught service. How do I serve? Give back to society. Don't live in your own little bubble where you do not know what's happening to people outside. I'm comfortable. I'm getting my food. I'm getting my water. I can travel by car. I can travel. My bubble is safe. Let them break out of that bubble. That is very, very relevant today. When everyone is so, especially today when all of us, then what about mental health? This has not been addressed at all. All our students, many adults, many students are suffering from mental health issues. When you're talking about technology, I wanted to bring that up. It is not a great thing because again, teachers are so relevant and so important because a teacher can say, hey, this student is a very good student. Suddenly his grades or her grades have dropped. What is the reason for it? Because now, thanks to the smartphone, students are going to the dark web, right? So how do you know? You don't know. Parents don't know. It's only when there is a conclusion to that in a negative way, you suddenly get to know about it. So it is very important today, socially relevant. I'm going back to this socially relevant, since you mentioned it, that teachers know their students, understand their students, and know when exactly they need that touch. It is important. Like when many of you are so young, you know that when a teacher patted you on the back, said, hey, Sabash, very good work. That was it. You will start working better. What about, so the teacher's sensitivity has to be there, especially today when children are having mental health issues. This is something that should be taught in all B.Ed courses, how to deal, every teacher, not just the special educator, should be aware of mental health issues because that is very relevant. And also make the students responsible for their actions. That doesn't happen. Oh, ma'am, I couldn't do my work because there was no electricity, or my father didn't bring this, or my mother didn't bring this, or I was not woken up early, or my sister or the dog ate my homework, whatever. That cannot be. That cannot be. You are responsible for your failure, not the teacher, because teacher is doing her best. You are responsible for your success also. When you listen to the teacher and you do well. Teaching responsibility, I don't know how much to emphasize. Teachers, you have got to teach the children. Okay, you have not done your work. This time I'll excuse you. Next time you have to bring it. No way. There is no excuse. You have given them one week. They will jolly well give it to you on the day that you said, or accept the consequences of that action. In India, that is never done. As they say in Hindi, for those of you, it says, Sarkar maa baap hai. So everything is done by the government. The people don't have to do anything. Similarly, we don't have to, teachers have to do everything. It's the responsibility of the teachers. The responsibility is on the student. You have to teach them that. Very important. And very importantly, allow them to dream. That's very important. If you don't allow them to dream and help them in dreaming, don't tell them this is the only answer. In maths, there are different ways of reaching a particular answer, right? There's not just one answer.
Yes.
So teach them that. Be creative, doesn't matter. Take another route. The process is important. And so teach them to dream. I think, and teach them, the teachers, you have to be the role models. You have to be the best version of yourself.
Yes, ma'am. I was about to tell that. So that is what I am taking from you now, to be sensible, to be sensitive, and to present ourselves in the best way within and outside.
Teachers have to be, I feel they have to be the best version of themselves and show the children what it is. Only then will they learn to be the best version of themselves also. There's no point in telling them all this big talk, do that, this content, these marks, this grade. Ultimately, it is life. You are equipping them for life, which is totally different. Yeah, so that is it. And
yes, ma'am. Thank you. And I think we are over time. And Leela ma'am, I would like to take a quick comment from you on this, because most of the mathematics teachers think it is really difficult to make mathematics learning socially relevant. If you can take 1 minute to give us 1 or 2 minutes to give us the best tip. With that, we will wind up our
conversation. Sir, thank you, sir. Just 1 or 2 minutes only, because Maya ma'am has already covered gender sensitivity, that is inclusive education, that is life skills are needed for life skills, value education. All these are the part of the education. So being a mathematics teacher, that is how to make maths more interesting. That is 2 or 3 points. One is ICT integration in mathematics. That is provide mathematics teachers with the integrative teaching methods, and it motivates the students and it support their independent thinking. And it will allow the students to discover new concepts and topics, and it will understand, it will bring them to a deeper understanding of mathematical ideas. And they can use the digital technologies such as the GeoGebra spreadsheet, dynamic geometry software, computer algebra software, etc. They can use to make them more the children more interesting in subject maths. And if you think of education as a chair, the legs are the 4 essential parts that keep it standing. That is the student, the teacher, the teaching process, and measurement evaluation. These 4 basic elements of education is a must. And the second one is recently artificial intelligence based learning tools. The teacher will be able to tailor instruction and assessment for every single student. And they will be able to personalize assignments so students learn according to their strength. They can create their own learning. And I believe that there are many areas in which teachers can work in cooperation with artificial intelligence system in future. And those are the mathematics students, those who are here, the 3 main branches of mathematics that constitute a thriving career in artificial intelligence are linear algebra is there, calculus is there, and probability. Artificial intelligence may not replace a mathematician, but will instead help us ask better questions. And 21st century teaching should allow opportunities to peer interaction also, and constructive problem solving in order to produce a good new next generation, technologically literate and responsible members of the global community. So I think this 2 or 3 minutes is okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Vita. It has been very insightful, and it has been honor for me to have this conversation. I'm sure our audience have few questions to ask you. Let me quickly hand it over by thanking you to Vaishnavi to moderate and take up the questions from our audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay sir. Everyone, I'm sure you have many more questions you would like to ask Maya ma'am and Leela ma'am. You can do that by raising your hand on Zoom. When I call your name, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions to one or both the speakers. You can also type your questions in the chat box. Ma'am, one of our students from BA have a question. Ramnath, would you like to ask a question as we wait for the participants to post their queries? Ramnath?
Yes, Vaishnavi. Okay, ma'am. I ever heard that a teacher may also face physical challenges in the profession, like developing throat infections from speaking for a long time and pain in the leg from standing for many hours. So how does one deal with these things?
Ma'am, you're muted.
Sorry. Whom are you asking? Are you asking me or Leela or anybody?
Anyone.
Okay. Leela, would you like to answer this? Okay. Then I'll answer it. Now, your question is what happens to us if we stand for too long? What are the problems we have? Is that what is, and your throat and the throat and stuff like that. Yeah. Isn't that what you asked, Ramnath?
Yes,
what do we do with those physical things? Yeah, right. So I think one of the, yes, throat, pharyngitis. It's a big problem. But that's because most of the time we are screaming at the students. So there are, to answer that question, we should be able to maintain discipline without screaming at the students. And I think children are very, very sensitive to teachers. I believe in the students a lot, the younger generation. I truly do. So with my example, I used to have pharyngitis. If I used to go to class and just write on the board, I'm sorry, my throat is aching. Please do not make a noise today. I can't do it. Instead, do written work. I think the students will respond very positively if you have given them that love. That is very important in this profession. Since you're an aspiring teacher, I guess, are you an aspiring teacher? Okay. If you are one of those, then please remember the most important 4-letter word insofar as teachers are concerned is LOVE. If the students can recognize your love, then there'll be no problem physically. But if you have congenital problems, teachers will have to make their own ways of dealing with it. Standing, yes, a lot of them get those varicose veins. I know some of the teachers do get varicose veins. But physical thing is something that you have to deal with. It could be in any profession. So I don't think teachers make a big hue and cry about it. And if teachers have it, they should do something about it and move forward. It's not something that, it shouldn't be an excuse to opt out, unless it's really very serious. I hope it answers your question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it?
Ma'am, we have Kriba Patel to ask a question. Kriba, please unmute yourself. Kriba?
Yeah, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Thank you, first of all, to Leela, ma'am, Maya, ma'am, everybody, and especially to our school for giving such a wonderful opportunity. We could hear and listen to such experienced speakers. Thank you so much, ma'am. And ma'am, one of my, I would say, most favorite or important question is, sometimes teachers are, ma'am, bounded by or confined by many boundaries, because nowadays parents also, they don't like when we pinpoint a particular child. Online classes or maybe somehow in the group. How can we come out of the box and handle such kind of children?
So you're basically saying that there's a lot of interference from parents Basically parents, is that what you said?
Parents, ma'am, parents, and sometimes even school, we are not supposed to do particular things, or we are like, we have to strictly follow certain rules.
Okay. Where the school is concerned. Now, for example, you're joining X school. I would say that you are joining that school knowing the rules, right?
Right.
So you're not going blind. So as long as you're there, you have to follow those rules. And if you feel the rules are unfair to you, then you have recourse to two things. Either you go to the people concerned, maybe your principal or whatever, or your head of department, and say, but I think this is very unfair what was done to me. And I would like, and I think if it's a principal, I'm sure she will respond to you positively because she knows the unfairness of it. But supposing no one can do anything about it, then just leave. Because it's not fair to impose what you think is right and what you think is wrong in an institution which is bound by certain rules and regulations. Okay, so where schools is concerned, this is what I feel personally. Secondly, when you're talking in terms of parents, this is where, if you remember when we were, when Ajay was asking the questions, I felt that empathy is very, very, very important. The parent will close his or her eyes to anything and everything you do if he or she knows that you're doing it for the betterment of the child. And that is where you have to convince the parent, listen, I know your child has a problem. I'm looking into it. I will help the child. I will stay back, or I will help with whatever it is, homework, whatever it is that you want. I'm there for your child. So this is again what I said in the beginning. First thing when you come to class, tell the students, these are the rules here. This is what I will do for you, but this is what I expect you to do for me. So if you're very clear in your mind that you have done only what is fair and just to the child, then you don't have to bother about parents or anybody. But if you have not done justice to the child, listen to the parent. There is no ego involved in this. Do what is best for the child. There is absolutely no tussle. And I would also request all the teachers, insist that the parents speak to you politely, students speak to you politely, and you speak to them politely. So don't allow them, because I know parents who used to come there screaming and shouting. I said, no way. In this institution, quiet. You have to speak softly. Teachers would come and speak softly. So I think that is one thing that you can look into. I hope I've answered your question. I can't even see you, so I hope I can have answered your question. Have I?
Created trust between the student and the parent.
Correct.
So that I think everything will be smooth.
Thank you. Then we can have Dhananjay. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity of asking this question from, highly respected teachers of our institution. My question is, who is a teacher? Like, some people say they are someone who guide you in your life, and some people say educationally. Like, who exactly is a teacher?
A teacher is who you think the teacher should be. Why do you want to measure a teacher according to a particular definition? It's not science. You don't have to define a teacher as something this, or as something, dispeller of darkness, as somebody who is God or godlike. No, a teacher is someone who doesn't merely teach subjects, doesn't merely believe in transaction of subject matter, but is someone who reaches out to you and who is there for you when you need her or him, in whether it be personally or whether it be through subjects. A teacher is one who has a lot of empathy, concern, and is very competent in his or her subject. And the rest of it, the qualities that teachers should have, is the qualities that you admire and that you take from the teacher. It could be kindness. It could be extremely well taught subject, competence of the teacher. It could be a combination of all this. You take what you want from the best of the teachers, accept it, make it your own and say, this is what a good teacher is. Because it is not something that someone can impose upon you. Yeah? No?
Yes, ma'am.
That's happy?
Can we have Vaiga Dhanush?
Okay, thank you for giving me this opportunity, ma'am. So I want to ask how to improve or how to make a friendly teaching method.
If the teacher itself is acting as a friend, the teaching will be friendly. Actually, the teacher is a friend, means and also mentor and a guide to the students. So when a teacher is acting as a friend in front of the students, the friendly teaching will happen in the class. And we can have activities, we can have project, and we can have group discussions among the students and with the teachers. At that time, we are mingling each other. So we will be having casual talks between us, the students, and etc., etc. Then the friendly teaching will happen. That I do believe.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Leela ma'am, and thank you, Maya ma'am. Thank you everyone for those wonderful questions which provided more insights into the expectations from a teacher of this time and age. We will close the Q&A session now. If you have any have more questions, please type them in the chat box. We will share it with the speakers. Now it's the time to announce the winners of Guru Dakshina competition. This was conducted by the students of integrated B.Ed programs as part of our Teachers' Day celebration. The purpose of the Guru Dakshina was to give students from across the country a platform to pay a tribute to their favorite teachers who inspired them to become teachers themselves. The competition had two age groups, 7 to 13 years and 14 to 18 years. To participate, students had to send a short video of them teaching any subject and nominate their favorite teachers. We received over 200 entries from students of all age groups. We are still receiving entries. On behalf of the organizing team, I thank and appreciate all of them who wish to give a Guru Dakshina to their teachers. Unfortunately, only those received within the deadline could be considered for the prize. 96 videos were evaluated by a panel of judges comprising 2 faculty members and 1 student teacher. Now, I invite our Dean of Faculty, Dr. Gauli Mahorika, who has over 35 years of experience in teaching and research, to announce the winners and to felicitate the favorite teachers. Ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Vaishnavi. Thank you for this wonderful program on the eve of Teachers' Day. And I think the results will be announced on the screen. I was told they will be announced on the screen.
Yes, ma'am. I will share screen.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
Yeah. Lakshmi Nanda KP, Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Payanur, class 5th standard.
That's her photograph.
Her video was the best. Okay.
Okay.
And the picture is of the teacher, right? Srimati?
No, ma'am. The student. She wore a sari for taking a class.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, ma'am.
5th standard girl.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
So Srimati Regina. Yeah.
Yes,
congratulations both to Lakshmi and Regina. Yeah. So another in the second group, it is Minoshka Valora Fernandez, St. Mary High School from 10th standard, and her video is like a winning video, and she has nominated teacher Astrid Costa.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Astrid Costa. So congratulations both to Minoshka and Astrid Costa.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to all.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, if we would also like you to say a word to our distinguished speakers right now, if that's possible.
It is possible. I am a born teacher, so if anybody tells me to speak, I won't stop. I can't resist myself, right? So somebody here asked a question, who can be a teacher, right? In the question answer session. So everybody here, I feel, including the eminent teachers who are like the best teacher awardees, then the parents and the students, the organizers, everyone is a teacher here. And I'm wishing happy Teachers' Day to everyone on this Teachers' Day Eve. Why I say that, because you learn a lot from your young students as well. I always used to call my younger son especially, he is my best teacher. He is my best friend and my best teacher. And, we go to the extent that everything around us, the nature, our ecological system, our environment, everything teaches us. The trees teach you to be very humble. When they are laden with flowers and fruits, they are just bent down. So vidya vinayena shobhate, how that vinaya you should inculcate in yourself, the trees teach you. And if the tree is filled with flowers, blossom with flowers, there are so many bees hovering around it. Okay, even that shatpada, the bee, teaches you, because the bee will go to each and every flower and suck the honey, the nectar, and then the honeybee would collect it for us, not for them, the honey. So like that, we have to collect bits and pieces, though in fragments, from whatever you hear, whatever we learn, whatever we read. So, kshanashaha kanashaschaiva vidyam artham cha sadayet. Bit by bit, we have to learn. So you learn a lot. Even from a donkey, we learn how to be happy in adverse circumstances. I think it's high time Leela madam was mentioning emotional quotient. I would rather go and say that adversity quotient is something which needs to be trained, which needs to be taught to the students, how to face the hardships in life and not succumb to, very easy things, which are, very painful at the end. So adversity quotient is also a must. And on every Teachers' Day, I always quote my famous poet, Sanskrit poet, Kalidasa. And I quote from his drama, Malavikagnimitram. So I will quote that and end it today. I will stop, otherwise I'll go on speaking for an hour. So Kalidasa says, who is the best teacher? These are all teachers, but who is the best teacher? In fact, before quoting Kalidasa, I can quote Aristotle, who said that teaching is understanding. It is the highest level of understanding is called teaching, says Aristotle. And I heard that teacher has to be a learner. Constant learner alone can be a good teacher. And there is always a debate whether the teacher should be scholarly, very intelligent, very wise, very scholastic, or he and she should be, teaching in a very expert manner, imparting knowledge. So Kalidasa touches this point itself. Shlishta Kriya Kasyachid Atma Samstha. We have so many people who are well versed and they are knowledgeable, but their knowledge clings to themselves. It doesn't come out in an effective manner. Right? There are others, on the other hand, who have a knack of teaching. Whatever they speak, that touches the hearts of millions. So they are the people, Kasyajiratma Samstha, Sankranti Ranyasya Vishesha Yukta. And further he says, Yasya Ubhayam Sadhu, Sa Shikshakanam Dhuri Pratishthapaitavya. So one who has both, one who is himself very knowledgeable, because he has to learn, constantly learn, right? So he himself is knowledgeable and he has the passion for teaching. He has that skill of imparting his knowledge to others. Such a combination is the covetable combination, and he or she could be called the best, the ideal teacher in the world. I think 2000 years have passed. I don't feel that the ideal teacher definition had changed any bit. It is the same. So just one who teaches, comes in the class, blah, blah, which Google also can tell you. He just gives you information. He is just a teacher. One who educates and trains, he is a good teacher. But one who inspires, touches your heart, and inspires you to follow on the same path of teaching, he is the best teacher. So I wish all here will be the best teachers in their own way. You may not have the profession of teaching in a school or a college or a university, but wherever you go, my young dear student friends here, whichever field you choose, you will be a teacher throughout your life, because you will be inspiring and motivating many others around you. So wish you all a very, very happy Teachers' Day. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Gauri ma'am. Congratulations to the two winners. They will receive a certificate from Chinmay Vishwavidyapet. The teacher will receive a token of love from us at their homes as the students' Guru Dakshina. One of the winners is present here. I invite Minoksha Valora Fernandez to say a few words about her experience.
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I am Minoshka Valora Fernandez. I study at St. Mary's of the Angels Convent High School, Chinchinikova. My favorite teacher is Teacher Astrid Costa. She teaches me English and history. Her friendly approach is very much liked by everyone. I like the way Teacher Astrid teaches and explains the lessons using many PPTs and videos. It makes learning more interesting and enjoyable. Teacher Astrid is very kind, loving, caring, inspiring, and empathizing. She is truly a role model to me. Thank you, teacher, for being such a great educator. May God bless you always. You are indeed a blessing to me. I also take the opportunity to thank all the coordinators and especially my Meenakshi and the whole team. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Minoshka. I now invite Ms. Meenakshi KP, a student of BA B.Ed English, to propose the vote of thanks. Meenakshi.
Yes, Vaishnavi. Hari Om, good evening all. As we come to the closure of this Teachers' Day celebration, I deem it as a great honor to propose a vote of thanks to all who have helped for making this event successful. Firstly, I thank both our speakers on the present and future of teaching, Mrs. Leela K.M. and Mrs. Mohan, for accepting our invitation and joining us today, and also for their valuable insights on the realistic expectations from a school teacher. I also thank Dr. Ajay Kumar K. for making the conversation an engaging learning experience. I would like to thank Professor Gauri Malikar, our Dean of Faculty, for also being part of our celebration and for her lovely words. The successful culmination of this event owes much to the guidance and support of our head of school, Dr. Vinod R.R., and our head of the Department of Education, Dr. Radha Mohan, and all our faculty members. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the entire organizing team as well as the supporting team at Chinmay Vishwavidyapet, the IT, media, admission, and marketing. Gratitude is also owed to the event coordinators and my batchmates. My sincere thanks to all. And now the most important of the list, I thank all the participants present here for accepting our invitation and being here throughout. And special gratitude is owed to the participants of the Guru Dakshina competition and the teachers who inspired them. Thank you all, Hari.
Thank you, Meenakshi. Thank you everyone for joining us. Please do fill in the feedback form given there too. If you would like to see the full videos of the winners, please check out our website next week. You can also find more information on our university and B.Ed programs link that is will given in your chat box. We hope to see you at future events. Have a lovely evening. Happy Teachers' Day in advance. Hari Om.
Vaishnavi, just before we close, we will just show the glimpse of the winners' videos. It will just take 1 minute each. I hope that's all right. If you would like to see the, yeah? Okay, so we'll just share screen.
My name is Leela K.M and I'm in class 10th A. I study in St. Mary's of the Angels Convent High School, Chinchini, Salsette, Goa. My favorite teacher is Teacher Astrid Costa. She teaches me English and history. Good morning, students.
Good morning, teacher.
How are you all today?
Fine, teacher.
Okay, now I will ask you all a few questions. Don't worry, they will be simple ones. You all will be able to answer those questions. So can you all tell me what you all had for breakfast today? Okay, wait. Don't answer all together. No chorus answers, please. Okay, Vivenda, can you tell me what you had for breakfast today?
Teacher, I had porridge.
So today we will mostly learn about bread. Okay, students, so now I have brought something to show you all. Okay, so see what is this carefully. This is the bread. In Goa, there are two kinds of bread, hard bread and soft bread. These are known as the ball. They are a bread, sweet bread of special. So this is the bread bangle, somewhat like the bread bangle. I wanted to buy the bread bangle, but when the baker came to my place, he said everyone bought the bread bangle and now it is over. So never mind, you all know no. So I have drawn it like this, see carefully. Okay students, so I hope you all understood of the different kinds of bread of Goa. I hope you all understood the lesson today. So now students, I'll give you all sweet bread to eat.
That was Minoshka's video. There's one more.
Hello, I am Lakshmi Nanda. Vidyalaya Payyanile 5th class വിദ്യാർത്ഥിനിയാണ്. എൻ്റെ മലയാളം അധ്യാപികയായ ശ്രീമതി രജന ടീച്ചർക്ക് ഗുരുദക്ഷിണയായി ഞാൻ ഈ പാഠം സമർപ്പിക്കുന്നു. നമുക്ക് ഒരു പുതിയ കൂട്ടുകാരി കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ആരാ അത്? നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം. ആരുടെ? കുഞ്ഞിക്കോഴി. ആരാ? വന്നു. കുഞ്ഞിക്കോഴിയുടെ കൂട് തുറന്നു. കുഞ്ഞിക്കോഴി പുറത്തു വന്നു. താര അരി വിതറി. കുഞ്ഞിക്കോഴി അരി തിന്നു. പരന്തേ ഇവിടുന്ന് പറന്നു വന്ന് നോക്കുന്ന കണ്ടോ നിങ്ങള്? പരന്ന് മാത്രമാണ് ഇതിന് നോക്കുന്നത്. അല്ല അല്ലേ, പിന്നെ ആര് നോക്കുന്നുണ്ട്? അതാ മരച്ചെല്ലിലെ കൂടിലുള്ള ഒരു കാക്ക കൂടി നോക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇവിടെ അവസാനിപ്പിച്ചാലോ? എല്ലാവർക്കും ഈ കഥ ഇഷ്ടായോ? ഇഷ്ടായി അല്ലേ? അപ്പൊ അടുത്ത ക്ലാസ്സിലേക്ക് നിങ്ങൾ ഈ പാഠം, നമ്മുടെ ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്കിലുള്ള പാഠം നന്നായി വായിക്കണം. അല്ലേ കോഴിക്കുട്ടി വായിക്കാം? അത് അടുത്ത ക്ലാസ്സിലാണ് കേട്ടോ. അപ്പൊ ശരി, ബൈ ബൈ.
You can, as Vaishnavi said, you can check out the full videos later on our website. It will be embedded. One more announcement we wanted to make. We really apologize for an error on our part. The Guru Dakshina offered by Lakshmi Nanda, class 5 student, was to Rajula ma'am, a Malayalam teacher. We accidentally mentioned it as Regina ma'am. It is really a mistake, Rajula ma'am. We apologize once more. Please keep inspiring more students like Lakshmi. Thank you so much. Vaishnavi, your meeting. Continue.
I request Ashri Asha to render the prayer.
Om Purnamada Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
We hope to see you at the future events. Have a lovely evening. Happy Teachers' Day in advance. Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you all.